Alright, big news coming out of Iran this morning, March 1, 2026. Iranian state media is confirming the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the country's supreme leader, at the age of 86. Now, this news comes right on the heels of a major joint military operation by the United States and Israel. In fact, just hours before, US President Donald Trump had actually claimed Khamenei was killed during that very offensive. And satellite images later backed that up, showing heavy damage to Khamenei's secure compound, which was, by the way, among the first targets hit in the barrage. This whole sudden, dramatic turn of events immediately plunges Iran into a pretty critical period of uncertainty. We're talking about an unprecedented leadership transition, all while the nation is grappling with severe internal challenges and escalating regional tensions. So, the big question now, of course, is who steps up to fill Khamenei's shoes? And that decision, let me tell you, has massive implications for Iran's stability at home, its nuclear ambitions, and its entire standing on the global stage. Alright, so the story behind Supreme Leader Khamenei's death? It's actually all tied back to this massive military operation targeting Iran, which US President Donald Trump named Operation Epic Fury. This recent offensive wasn't just some isolated incident, it's the latest in a string of increasingly tense showdowns. Back in June 2025, both the US and Israel hit Iran's nuclear facilities hard. Those attacks also ended up killing several top military officers and nuclear scientists. Iran, of course, fired back, launching its own missiles and drones toward Israel. Now, reports surfaced that during those June 2025 strikes, Khamenei had to take cover in an underground bunker. And after that, he appeared visibly frail. What's more, he even missed this big annual event commemorating the military's support for the 1979 revolution, something he'd never done in all his time as leader. All these military clashes really underscored just how intense the conflict got in Khamenei's final years. And they're certainly setting the stage for the immediate challenges his successor now faces. So, during Khamenei's final months, things were really heating up at home. There was widespread unrest, mostly sparked by Iran's economy just going from bad to worse. Then, starting December 28, 2025, we saw massive protests just explode across all 31 of Iran's provinces. And get this, even in areas that usually, played ball with the state. What was fueling all this? A completely tanking economy. We're talking inflation rates that just skyrocketed past 40% in 2025. And get this, food prices alone jumped an alarming 70% during that same time. And the national currency, the rial? It was in freefall, absolutely plummeting to record lows. By late 2025, you needed over 1 million rials just to get $1 US dollar. And then, by January 2026, it fell even further to 1.1 million. That absolutely decimated the purchasing power for everyday Iranians. So, how did Supreme Leader Khamenei respond to all this chaos? Well, he actually acknowledged that people had legitimate grievances. He said the government would engage with protesters, but he also made it clear, saying, and I quote, "Rioters should be put in their place." The government also tried to step in and fix the crisis. They swapped out the central bank governor and announced some new subsidy systems for essential goods. So, if Ayatollah Ali Khamenei were to pass away, it would immediately kick off a constitutionally required process to pick Iran's next supreme leader. The job of choosing that new supreme leader falls to the 88-member Assembly of Experts. This is a group of top clerics, and interestingly, their members are actually voted in by the people every 8 years. This same panel also has the power to remove a supreme leader, though, to be clear, that's never actually happened. Now, while they're in between leaders, Iran's law says a temporary leadership council steps in to take charge. This council is made up of 3 people, the current president, the head of the country's judiciary, and 1 member from the Guardian Council who's picked by Iran's Expediency Council. Apparently, several big names are already being floated as potential successors. That includes Khamenei's own son, Mojtaba Khamenei, even though Shiite religious tradition generally isn't big on passing power down through the family. Other names that often come up are Hassan Khomeini, who's the grandson of the Islamic Republic's founder Ruhollah Khomeini, plus some of his close advisors like Sadiq Larijani, Mohammad Mirbagheri, and Mohsen Iraqi. And don't forget former moderate president Hassan Rouhani, he's also seen as a serious contender. Now, it's really important to mention that former President Ibrahim Raisi, who many saw as the top frontrunner, tragically died in a helicopter crash back in May 2024. Ultimately, whoever gets picked will seriously shape Iran's political path and its overall ideology for a long, long time. When Ruhollah Khomeini died in '89, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei stepped in as supreme leader, and for 3 decades, he really left his mark on the Islamic Republic. He had his hands full, guiding Iran through a ton of domestic issues, dealing with those crippling Western sanctions, and always standing up to the United States and Israel. Under his leadership, the Revolutionary Guard, which is a paramilitary force, really beefed up. They became this super powerful institution, not just for security, but politically and economically, and they were key to projecting Iran's power throughout the region. He was always super firm on Iran's nuclear program. He kept saying it was for peaceful purposes, even as he oversaw its growth. Even though he was pretty rigid in his beliefs, Khamenei sometimes showed he was willing to be pragmatic, making tactical compromises just to keep the state going. A good example is when he cautiously backed the 2015 nuclear deal, mainly to ease the economic pressure. Now, the new leaders coming in are staring down some really tough, immediate challenges. They've got to deal with this severe economic crisis, widespread public unhappiness, and navigate all these rising geopolitical tensions after those recent strikes. So, where Iran goes from here? Will it stick to Khamenei's tough policies? Will we see a move towards more practical leadership? Or could things even get unstable internally? That's a huge question mark for the whole world.